A plethora of issues really being tackled by the Department of International Relations and Cooperation. As you know, that South Africa has always positioned itself as a very strong player in terms of all these array of issues. Joining us now is Mr. Puri from this particular department. So once again, sir, thank you so much indeed for your time. So first and foremost, obviously the issue around the International Court of Justice, countries like Turkey coming on board and many others really to make sure that there's justice in Gaza. What do you make of such steps?
We're quite encouraged by the fact that Turkey has decided to join our case. It really shows that firstly our case is a credible case. But also it will enable the court to see the same issues that we are presenting from a different vantage point. We know that the Turkey government as well are working with various agencies to collect certain information that would be beneficial in this matter. And we are quite encouraged by it, and we look forward to more countries joining our case. And we stand ready to present our case at the ICJ. Our legal team is hard at work collecting all the relevant evidence that they need to collect. And we will be ready to present our case.
And just once again, Mr. Puri, like you just said now that accountability is vital, especially when it comes to the global platforms like the United Nations Security Council. I mean, based on what we saw with the advisory opinion, where the ICJ was very clear in stating in no uncertain terms that this occupation is illegal, but also it should end as rapidly as possible, but also tying in to South Africa's case where you have been raising these issues.
Certainly, we have been at the forefront of ensuring that the international justice system or international law works equally amongst all states and that we all follow the same laws, and where there are blatant violations, as we can see is the case in Gaza. In fact, we have just condemned the massacre that we saw over the weekend taking place in Gaza. We need to ensure that these institutions function adequately for everybody and on an equitable basis. So this is something that we are steadfast we will do, whether it's at the UN or whether it's at the International Court of Justice. Multilateral systems must work for the people, no matter where they are, whether they're in Gaza or Khartoum. These systems must work for the people.
And just once again, Mr. Puri, coming back to issues closer to home, SADC Summit is coming up and Minister Khumalo will be there to join President Ramaphosa. Obviously, I mean, there has been quite a bit of a storm preceding this summit, given the track record of Zimbabwe's human rights. When you talk about some political dissenting voices, some incarcerated, what can South Africa do? Obviously, we do understand South Africa always talks about the dialogue in such situations.
Yes, the dialogue is quite critical, and we will constantly ensure that that is at the center of any form of relation with any nation. And we do believe that also SADC is an important institution that must be able to address some of the issues that confront citizens of the region. And these are various issues, whether it's economic development, political systems, sometimes in some places. SADC must be at the center of addressing these issues. So like we say, like the United Nations must be there as a multilateral institution addressing issues on an equitable basis, we think that too SADC can be that type of institution. And that's definitely what we will be seeing at the 44th Summit. I think some of these issues will be discussed. We will be receiving reports on the situation in Eswatini. And where there are other developments as well, we expect that there will be some level of engagement where SADC will take a collective position. Like we've seen, for example, in the DRC, it was SADC that was actively ensuring that we are able to deploy a military mission that was able to address the situation that we are now seeing. That has led to some sort of a ceasefire in the DRC. So we do believe that these institutions are the right platforms to address critical issues that affect all nations. And we do hope that this summit will be no different.
And just before we let you go, sir, G20 is coming, 1st of December, South Africa officially taking from Brazil. Surely quite a lot expected, especially what we saw, the momentous time in India when the African Union was admitted as a member of the G20, and South Africa played a very pivotal role there. But what are the expectations for Pretoria?
We're very, very excited to host this very important summit, and we really do look forward to hosting it. Like we've said in our briefing, various meetings will be held in all provinces of the country. This is an opportunity for us to showcase our cultural heritage and who we are as South Africa, but also to take opportunities to ensure that we're able to put critical issues on the table. Climate change remains a very, very important issue. We will be defining our priorities in due course, what we believe we will use this G20 summit to address. One of those also being the functioning, of course, of multilateral institutions, where G20 needs to take an important position as an important and influential body in our body politic internationally. So the G20 summit really is a massive opportunity, and we urge all South Africans to own it. It's not the government's G20, it's South Africa's G20, and we encourage South Africans from all walks of life to really own this moment and be proud. We know that we're great hosts. To this day, I think the best World Cup that has ever been hosted is 2010. So we do believe that even this G20 summit will be one of the best ever. And we look forward to taking over from Brazil on the 1st of December.